Hello everybody. So today we're going to do a demonstration of the lab for the seed germination assay for kanamycin resistance. And for that we will use two lines that came from last year. Line number 1 is actually number 2, and then the second line is number 4. And I will not tell you at this point what the two lines are and how many inserts they have. But this is something that when we look at the test results in about 2 weeks, we will be able to determine the segregation of the tDNA loci. So for today, we're just going to go over the procedure, and then in 2 weeks, when we look at the results, I will talk a little bit more about Mendelian genetics and how to analyze the seed germination assay. So we're using tobacco. We are not using petunia for this one. So the first step for the procedure is to add 1 ml of 10% of 1% bleach, that also contains tween 20. Remember, tween 20 is important so that the seeds can be sterilized. And Lin Han is putting the 1 ml of 1% bleach tween 20 into the Eppendorf tube containing the seeds. We will then soak them for 20 minutes. He is gently tapping it and inverting it a few times to make sure that the seeds are in full contact with the disinfecting material. And he will do that every couple minutes to make sure that all the seeds get direct contact. And during the 20 minutes, and he will also do this for the second tube, as you can see, and repeat this process. So during the 20 minutes, and you can see, if we can see the seeds a little closer, see how they're all throughout now. Before they were just sitting at the bottom only, and he's making sure that they're floating and they're going to be sterilized. Okay? So during the 20 minutes incubation, he will keep inverting the tube every couple minutes, and he will also start to make 25 squares on the bottom of a medium plate. The medium plate is a selection plate that contains 300 milligrams of kanamycin, and it has the regular ingredients such as the sucrose, the glucose, and the MS basil medium, and the phytogel. And the pH was adjusted to 5.6 to 5.8 with potassium hydroxide before autoclaving. So you can see he is drawing the grids right now and making sure that he is going to end up approximately with 25 squares. This one doesn't have to be perfect. Some people actually don't even make the squares. It will be easier when we analyze the results to calculate germination efficiency and seeing how many were able to germinate and have the gene of interest or the kanamycin resistance. And what we're gonna see in 2 weeks, either we're gonna have no germination. If they're not resistant to kanamycin, we could have germination, but we could have only white leaves instead of green ones. The white ones are called escapes, and they're not truly transgenics. They will then die. So they're still counted in the shooting efficiency, but they will not be counted for purposes of calculating the inserts that we have. So since this is for demonstration purposes and we have other tubes going, we will now continue, instead of waiting the full 20 minutes, we will continue with the experiment. And so the next step will be to extract the 1% bleach tween 20 and pour the disinfectant into the waste beaker. Now during this step you want to make sure that you don't extract too many seeds. This is the tricky part for this experiment. There will be some seeds that will be lost, but that will be okay. I usually put in about 100 seeds, so there is more than enough seeds to do the segregation assay, even if you lose half of the seeds. And you don't have to extract 100% everything, but as much as you can. So there will be a little bit of liquid left in there, but this is where the washes come in. So we're gonna use sterile distilled water and do 5 water washes in total. And since these are only washes, you add the water, close the tube, invert it a couple times, and then extract the water. And again, make sure you don't lose too many seeds. And at this point, since the seeds have been soaking, they are most likely going to be floating on top, and it makes it much easier to extract the liquid. And again, you don't have to go all the way down to the bottom, and it's okay to leave a little bit of liquid in there, because there will be 4 more washes. And even if you lose a couple seeds, that's okay. He lost 2 seeds?
I mean,
no.
Just
okay.
do 2 washes.
2 washes. So for the purpose of the demonstration, instead of doing the 5 water washes, we're only going to do 2 of them, and then we're going to keep going with the rest of the procedure. So I believe this is water wash number 3.
2.
Oh, 2. Okay. So I think that's going to be the last wash for the demonstration. There are going to be 6 or 5 more plates that we're actually going to do the correct number of washes and the correct number of incubations. So when you do the last wash, you want to make sure that you leave a drop or 2 in the Eppendorf tube, so that it's going to be easier for you to spread the seeds. So as you can see, he left about, and Han left probably about 0.25 mils or 250 microliters. So it's going to be easier for him to spread out the seeds. And so you can either pour the Eppendorf tube right in the center and then put the seeds, distribute the seeds to each square, or you can put them on a pipette. Now mix everything really well, because now you actually want the seeds to come up. And with the pipette tips, it makes it a little harder to get all the seeds in there, because the seeds have swollen up sufficiently that it's going to be harder for the seeds to get into the pipette tip. For this, even if you have 3 seeds per square, that's okay, as long as you write down how many seeds that you have in each square. That will be important when you do the for your results. And if you have 2 seeds, you can gently try to push them into the next square. So this is usually the most tedious part of this experiment, and this will take you probably about half an hour to 45 minutes to fill up the plate and to make sure that you have 2 seeds in each square. But for the purpose of this experiment, let's just get a little closer. And if you can take it outside of the hood, and so you can see there's exactly 2 seeds per square, and he will keep doing that till he has all the squares filled up. But for the purpose of the demonstration, we're gonna stop at this point, and then when we look at the results, I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about the theory behind it and how to do the calculations for this. So after he's done with all the seed placements, he will then put a piece of parafilm around it, record the total number of seeds on the plate, that is important, and then label the plate with a name, date, and section, and incubate it at 28 degrees Celsius for with the 8 hours of daylight and 16 hours of darkness for 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks we're gonna look at the results. And that's everything for today's experiment. The corn, there was no corn that was ready, so we're probably gonna do the embryo rescue next week when we have some fresh corn on the market that we can use for this exercise. So I wish you a good week, and I will talk to you again next Monday during the lecture. Goodbye.